Hey guys, Kings here. I think it's time we sit down and have a conversation. A conversation that really needs to be had, and a conversation that I think everybody can agree on to some degree. Um, and that is ball grouping in the Elder Scrolls Online. Um, so let's talk about it for a little bit. First of all, what is a ball group? Ball group is a 6 to 12, depending on your group size, but it really doesn't matter. But you focus the same players. You play in like a ball. You objectively try to kill and single out people, whether they be in another ball group, or just a random like Zerg. Using cross heals, shields, every buff, debuff in the game to stack your group to its maximum potential. That to me is what a ball group is. That's what me as a ball group leader has built, my comp on, and so on and so forth. So the evolution of ball grouping too. Let's talk about that a little bit as well. I would say, ball grouping peak was 2020 to like 2022, 2023. That's when there was an extreme amount, at least on Xbox NA. I can't speak for PC or PlayStation, but Xbox NA, there was a lot of competitive groups. They wasn't ultra unkillable. It took some thinking, some stuns, some mobilizations. During the Harmony meta to kill them. But it was competitive and it was really fun. And it didn't kill the game because there was a bigger population. I can't exactly remember. I think it was like 150 per alliance on Xbox. I'm sure on PC it was probably bigger than that because the PC servers have always been better than the console port. Even today, I think PC is sitting at 120 while console's at 90. And just take that for perspective. 90 people in a 12 man ball group. Say maximum, you have 3. That that's half your population is ball groups, you know. So 36 people out of 90, one third, you know. Um it's getting a little bit overbearing. So let's talk about it. What is the issue with ball grouping in 2026? I would say that if you talk to anybody on the server, they would unanimously say the biggest issue with ball grouping is the shields. Shielding since scribing has become so overly powerful. Contingency, Soul Burst, and with the DK rework, you got Magma Shell. All of which can be hit outside of group, so you can have these massive 24 mans of, you know, say you have 12 and then, 4 other people are shield spammers spamming outside your group to just make us ungodly, unkillable, like destruction for the regular player in Cyrodiil. So I feel like that's the main issue. Ball grouping at its core has always been unbalanced for the simple fact that when you just stack so much buffs and debuffs, you're going to be powerful on this game. Um, you know, um, I think now ball grouping though, the skill of ball grouping has been diminished to basically zero. I don't. There is some good ball groups. I see some on PC, mainly 6 mans, mainly 6 to 8, not really 12s that much, but 6 to 8 who coordinate very well. Gooch the God, Meep, just to name a few who I've watched and have respect for as players because they can also duel at a high level. So they're not bad players. It's just they are doing exactly what I do, which is exploit the unbalancement of this game. The shield meta, for their 7 mans, the damage that you can get from buffs and debuffs, and you can't blame them for doing it because in reality, if they're not doing that, they're going to get out here and zerg down solo by the people who are doing it. So Like, I don't blame any of them for ball grouping. I don't blame anybody for ball grouping at this point. I blame ZOS for not fixing this issue, a year ago, a couple months ago. Like, contingency's been an issue for a while. Making Magma Shell be ungodly, it doesn't really make much sense. Even when the patch notes came out, I was instantly like, wow, it wouldn't be surprising to me if I seen, you know, 3 magma shells in a ball group. And what do you know, on Xbox NA, most ball groups do run 2 to 3 magma shells minimum in a 12-man. One shielder, they call it, where, it's contingency, soul burst, chakram, gibbering shelter, or barrier. Like, it's an insane amount of tankiness, and it's an insane amount of just damage. And I'm just going to say it too, and half the community probably will say it as well, and I agree with this statement that there's a lot of ball groups right now getting carried by these shields, and if it wasn't for these shields, like, a lot of these ball groups would not survive and would not, like, prosper in this meta. It is carrying very mediocre players, and I'm not saying that to be toxic. I'm not saying that to, diminish anybody, but it's the truth. And it needs to be said that it is carrying people right now to an ungodly degree. So how do we fix it? Well, I think the Battle Spirit is a good way of fixing it. I think that it's very cool that they are using the Battle Spirit. I've been saying that since 2020, that they should have been using Battle Spirit. I don't know why they haven't, but they also cracked the code on doing stuff to nerf PvP stuff away from PvE, by monster damage and all that. So I think those are good things that ZOS has implemented. But I'll tell you right now that those 6-mans, those 8-mans on PC specifically, console can't really speak for. We don't have really too many. We have like one really good 8-man on the server who plays red. But like those 6 to 8-mans on PC, that Battle Spirit change is not going to do anything for them. It's a slap on the wrist. They're going to be out here dominating like nothing ever changed because the nerf isn't enough for those 6 to 8-mans. Take good players and then give them, the Infinity Stones. They're still going to be dominant. They're going to be good. But so the community feels, to me, on Xbox NA, it's a huge issue. It needs fixed as soon as possible because it is killing PvP. It has not good for PvP at all. It won't be good for PvP if they continue down this road. It needs fixed. So what should the future ball grouping look like? The future ball grouping should look like, I think group cap should be at 8. I really do. I think they should do stuff where shields aren't being applied outside of group. How they tried that with HOTS in the past. I don't know why they got away from that. That doesn't really make much sense to me why they got away from that. But no one should be spamming 12k contingencies on a 70k health Arcanist outside of group. This is an MMO. If you're friends with the people, sorry, make a second group or something, like, and give it to that group. But like, it's insane. But yeah, I do think that something has to be done. It has to be done in quick succession. If not, in-game PvP is going to die. The game ain't going to die, but the in-game is going to die. I don't think this game could ever die because of the title of this game being Elder Scrolls. The role-playing, housing, questing people on this game. I don't think it can die. But I think the end game can die, and I think that we're approaching that area to where 90 per alliance, your map, for one, Cyrodiil is too big for 90 per alliance. Again, you take 1/3 of it being ball groups, setting at, 3 different keeps. There's no PvP in prime time. Like, it's just bad. It's really bad during prime time. Anybody on Xbox NA will attest to it. It's really bad. It's not good. It's not in a good state during prime time. Some EU population has came over. It hasn't really helped. But yeah, I don't foresee it getting any better until ZOS takes a really big stand against the shields, a really big stand against shields being applied outside of group, particularly. But even as a ball group leader, I see that my style of play, which I've always thought the past couple months that it has been broken and that something needed to change because, in my opinion, just because it's fun doesn't mean it's good for the health of the game. Period. Ball grouping is no exception to me. Just because I have fun in ball grouping and fun with my friends and fun being competitive, with a 12 man doesn't make it okay. Doesn't make it good for the health of the game. At the end of the day, the health of the game is what matters to me. And it will always be the case. So, Zos, I hope you really do take a look at these shields, take a look at the community's outcry for getting rid of these shields, and hopefully, we can get a good track on this thing. But other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one.